we're going to look at the future of smart internet-based networks. And our guide here is Enrico, who's the Chief Technology Officer at Sparkle, which is the international arm, if you like, of Telecom Italia, I believe. Thank you very much and welcome, Enrico.
Right. So, Annie, thanks for the introduction. Today I will talk about smart internet-based network. Is a very fascinating subject. I'm sure all of our attendees have heard about it, are working on it. So I wanted to give an overview on how we see this topic and how we're going about to implement it in Sparkle. If you could go to the next one, please. The idea would be that the network automatically reacts and behaves according to the business driver, to the needs of the service being implemented. Of course, on one hand, we need to translate the service needs and the market requirements into technical policies and integrity check. You need to activate that into the physical and logical infrastructure you're using. Of course, you want to get a feedback on the functioning of and the performance of the infrastructure, physical and digital infrastructure, so that you keep checking continuously on the actual meeting of the service requirement you've been requested. There are a lot of research and standard activity going on. We've mentioned here just the ITF and the MEF initiatives. Standards, as always, are very much required in order to avoid to be locked into some vendor-specific solution for the whole architecture you see here. If you go to the next one, please. This is the architectural principle behind it, which is the closed loop paradigm. Again, closed loop is a very, let me say, classical architecture for many application, industrial application, machinery, and so on. Here is applied to the telecom world, whereby there are service intent fed into the network intelligence overall. There is measurement and feedback, and this continues automatically to continuously match the requirements with the actual performance. Next one, please. These are the ingredients. Of course, the smart intent-based networking builds on some existing components and technologies. Others will be added. The basis for this is the well-known SD-WAN solution, and in particular the SD-WAN network control system. If you go from the top left, if we go by these ingredients, first of all, I think we need to mention the transport independency, the logical connectivity SD-WAN provides run independently of the physical media. However, it's very clear that the different physical media provide a different performance. So there's a need to adjust and protect with respect to the service requirement based on the performance provided by each of the physical layer. Performance meaning speed, but also error, but also delays and latency and all other technical parameters. Of course, you need to have an end-to-end integration between the management plane, the control plane, and the data plane of your network, because all of them are in a way running independently of each other, but very much logically connected to them. So you need an architecture whereby all this functionality is clearly allocated and API to integrate the layers between them. Then you need to have a place, one centralized place for, one centralized place for the analysis of the data, for the analysis of the combination between business needs, business drivers, and physical and logical performance. And this is actually the most, let me say, intelligent piece, and also the most relevant area for innovation, I think, and for market differentiation between the different operators. Of course, you can add security embedded to this as part of the solution, as a feature. As we said, not only you have different medias, different transport technologies to combine to provide an aggregated capacity, but also you can differentiate based on services. We know very well how premium quality services, maybe like the video conference we're having today, require specific needs, whereby less bandwidth hungry or less latency critical services like browsing or emailing or other things are less demanding in terms of performance. So we need to, and we can provide dedicated services to the dedicated service quality to the dedicated services. There is also a very high increase of availability. If I was running on an SDN connection today, I wouldn't have to reconfigure my PC to work on my mobile connection, because automatically it would have gone from my fiber access to the mobile access, and you would have no problem with my connection like we had. So I had to do manual intervention, and of course zero touch, because everything flows automatically from order provisioning to service assurance. It's quite a combination of ingredients to be mixed and prepared. And this is where, again, the market differentiation will be, because one by one, all the ingredients are available to all of us. But the way we manage to cook the recipe will be how different we present ourselves to our customers. Next one, please. Next one is just a focus on the key network performance indicators we can manage and we can mix and match to provide the best service intent performance. We can work on traffic steering among the different sources and among the different infrastructure. We can run forward error correction algorithms to protect the service quality from network performance. We can do one optimization to optimize the network, use caching, use data compression. All of this, as we said, has to be captured, and it has to be analyzed and let me say translated into action by AI. I refer to generically to AI as a combination, of course, of data analytics, machine learning, and all other techniques that we can have. So this brain here, this digital brain here, is actually the most, let me say, complex component to be prepared and maintained, because it's not a stable situation. It's an ongoing evolution. Maybe you add new technology, you add new service, you do additional features in your network. And of course, you will never stop optimizing the performance. The more you learn and the more you can implement better performance on your infrastructure. So this will be actually the area where the ability of the different carriers and different operators will show to the market their capabilities. Next one, please. This is the overall architecture we have in Sparkle, where we actually implemented the principle I have just described, end-to-end, starting from the CRM systems connected through API to the CRM system of our peer, as an example, using the Sonata, Math Sonata API. Then, of course, you have all the layers to decouple the business logic with the network automation systems. And at the bottom, you have the physical and logical resources, again, represented through APIs to our network automation tool. Of course, there is a very clear addition and combination, as you can see in the bottom right, whereby not only networking infrastructure is involved, but also cloud infrastructure is involved, because we know very well that a clear market trend is to include the cloud in the infrastructure for corporate clients, for public clients, for all, I would say. So what we can do here is an automation to combine not only the network performance up to the cloud provider. That could be internal cloud provider or could be OTT cloud providers, which, by the way, are exposing API to be integrated into this architecture. So as you can see, it's a very holistic view and a very clear direction to point at. Next one, please. Let me say, a little deep dive on what we have today. The first SD-WAN product we have implemented. The service is up and running and available to the market since the last October, based on Cisco Viptela technology. Not all, but most of the principles I have described here are already included. The orchestration of the network, of the different network infrastructure we can use as transport, the intelligent use of CPE and endpoints, and the integration with OTT cloud applications, starting with Amazon and Google. The monitoring of the quality from end-to-end quality provider, the availability of a management portal for the customers to see the actual SLAs and the actual performance. Of course, is the full intent-based networking is our target. The current SD-WAN solution are a step toward this target, and they will be increased with more intelligence and more capabilities along the way. Next one, please. Next one, please, is another implementation we have. In this case, we have taken ourselves as the customer. On the left of the chart, you see a simplified view of our network. You may remember Sparkle is the international carrier of the Telecom Italia group. We have a worldwide network covering just about all continents, about 600,000 kilometers of fiber infrastructure, both on submarine cables and terrestrial networks, and about 180 POP, where we provide capacity, IP, and other services to other carriers or international corporations. We had the need to refurbish our own corporate network, and of course, in this refurbishment, we moved from a generic IP network to connect our equipment, our sites to our OSS and BSS, but we went for a full-blown SD-WAN intent-based network, in this case based on Juniper technology, as you can see, will be a quite extensive network. But the interesting piece, if you go to the next one, this solution, which we will develop, will be developed as a product for the market, whereby ourselves, Sparkle itself, will be like the #1 customer to use it. Of course, there will be a tenant specifically for our own use, which is in this picture what we call the DCN 4.0. But the same, similar tenant will be available for our market in the end customer. Again, this is based on the existing SD-WAN technology, but it's adding, according to the roadmap of the vendors, we have included more and more completion of all the ingredients we've seen in the previous slides in terms of monitoring, in terms of closed loop facilities, in terms of analytics and feedback to match the service requirement with the network performance. Next one, and I'm almost there. This is a view on the closed loop part. So the SD-WAN part is the part closer to the network. This is moving up into our architecture. Today we are using NSO, so Cisco products, to develop the service intent piece, the service management and device management piece. Of course, we are integrated the situation manager packages to deal with the feedback from the network onto the service manager to actually implement the closed loop architecture I have described earlier. And of course, the situation manager is northbound integrated with our OSS and BSS to also take care of all the assurance management and performance management functions that run by operations. So whatever is not managed and protected automatically will be, in any case, fed to operation for fixing, or customer care for, of course, customer management. So again, this is another piece of our solution in place today. And last one is the engagement of cloud. Of course, cloud can be our own cloud for the market, or OTT Cloud we integrate in our solution. Interesting that in this service chaining picture, the closed loop includes the end part residing on the cloud piece. We can manage the connection to the cloud from the customer premises to the cloud with this intent-based approach, but also we can integrate the management of the cloud resources themselves. All the names, the cloud, the OTT names we have shown here are providing and will be providing APIs for a seamless integration into the architecture. And this becomes, I think, a very powerful solution to actually tailor this network services to the specific customer needs and service needs, running on a combination of physical infrastructure, but providing a virtual, let me say, solution that is precisely matching the service need. And it's not a principle, it will be a measured, let me say, matching of the service needs. There will be visible SLAs, contractual SLAs that are monitored directly by the customer through the portals. So I think it's truly a new era to grow in the service value chain for all the carriers. Of course, as I said, if you have different cooks starting from the same ingredients, the final cake can be quite different. So actually, this is the let me say, the added value that all of us will bring into the market in our ability to mix and integrate and deploy all such ingredients in a way that truly matches the, let me say, original payoff of the intent-based network. With this, I will complete. I think I'm almost done. I will try to start my video, so at least you can see my face.
Enrico, thank you. That was really very interesting, a bit mind-boggling. We have a question from the audience for you. Yes. Are you monitoring both the overlay and the underlay for your SD-WAN services?
Yes, of course. You know, we are a network provider as a starting point. We own and run our own transport and IP infrastructure, either based on in some case on lease capacity, in other case on property assets. But in any case, we have the view and the management of the network infrastructure, both of the transmission and the IP layer, as well as we have the visibility of the virtual layers of the network provided by the intelligent CPEs and the SD-WAN endpoints. And again, that's an added value that will differentiate us and all carriers in principle with OTT SD-WAN provider that run no infrastructure, because we have much more additional knowledge on the actual situation of the network that can complement the end-to-end view provided by the logical layer. So again, I think we are in a unique position to do something better and something more than others who do not own the network infrastructure.
So kind of following on from that, our final question is, are you using SD-WAN? Are you using solutions that are built in from vendors?
Yes, of course.
Or is it a third-party solution that you use?
Yes, of course. We do not invent the technology. As a carrier, we integrate the existing technology. Like all vendors, we have, like all carriers, we have selected the key vendors. I've mentioned here Cisco and Juniper's. Of course, there are other components involved by other partners. But again, the key activity and the key, let me say, added value we put is actually in the integration layer of the existing capacity. And of course, with these vendors, we have with all the vendors we select, we try to have a more, let me say, a very, let me say, partnership type interaction. Is not just a vendor-client solution. With the names I've mentioned here, we have run POC, we run tests, we run demos, and we actually are involved in the driving of their own, let me say, product roadmap, so that we make sure they include our requirements. It's a very, let me say, dual relationship, because of course, on the other hand, they could do many things. They need to collect the key requirements from the market, in this case from the carrier. So I think it's a very active, let me say, scenery.
Okay, Enrico, I'm sorry to say we're out of time. I'd just like to thank you very much